Okay, hi everyone. Just letting you know that the Australian Hair and Scalp Clinic will be in Perth this coming May for the AACMA annual conference, and we will be presenting a topic about Chinese herbal solutions for hair loss. That's actually what we specialise in, and that'll be presented by our certified trichologist, Angela Sun. So I'd like to go through some of the reasons why you should attend this seminar, and these are very important. Firstly, I think it is important that we share some interesting and important stories about people that have actually come to us in the past with their hair loss problems. A number of these people have tried the standard hair loss treatments on the market, but have failed with those. Others have experienced side effects with these standard treatments. And, this is information that every hair loss sufferer out there should know before they decide to go ahead on any form of hair regrowth treatment. We've got a number of these stories. I'll quickly go through some of the ones that we have had. Young gentleman here by the name of Sean, these are his results. We won't worry about those too much. You'll get more of that information at the seminar. But this gentleman, young man in his late 20s, suffering with a very common condition called androgenetic alopecia, standard case of genetic thinning. He used minoxidil and finasteride, which are the common hair loss pharmaceutical drugs for a couple of years, and had some pretty serious problems for a guy his age. Symptoms such as reduced sex drive, low energy levels, and even depression after using these medications for about a year. Other cases, another case I'll quickly go through as well. This gentleman, Murray, came to us a while back now, also in his late 20s, same condition as the previous gentleman. Also used minoxidil and finasteride, this time for 4 years. And he also experienced some pretty devastating side effects after a couple of years. And then they got worse after 3 to 4 years. These side effects included reduced sex drive, low energy levels, and once again, depression. So, as I mentioned before, these are things that every hair loss sufferer needs to know about, those standard hair loss treatments that are on the market, so that you can make a more informed decision if you decide to go ahead with that type of treatment. Another case here, Mr. KP. This gentleman's a little bit older than the first two, in his 50s. Hair loss obviously affects people in various age groups, not just sort of limited to one particular age group. This gentleman also suffering with androgenetic alopecia, which is the standard sort of male pattern hair thinning. He used minoxidil for 1 week only. That's minoxidil is an externally applied medication to the scalp, and only used it for a week, and noticed the skin was peeling off his fingers. He was obviously massaging it into the scalp, and naturally became very concerned that if the skin on his fingers was peeling off, he was obviously worried about the effects that it was doing to his scalp. So that was quite interesting. So as I mentioned, these are real cases that have come and seen us. So these are people that have used the standard medications for hair loss, and they've had problems with them, and they've come to us, desperate for a better solution. And we were certainly able to help these people, with our treatments. There's another young gentleman here suffering from a different condition. This is he had alopecia areata. And was suffering from a patchy form of hair loss. Not sure if you can see the photos here, but he's sort of losing hair in patches, which is the key clinical feature of this condition. Again, a young man, 21 years of age, and for this condition, the standard medical approach is, as it says here, steroid-based drugs. And his experience was quite interesting. He didn't suffer with any side effects, but at the same time, he didn't actually regrow any hair. So that was obviously a failed result there using the standard medication for this type of hair loss condition. So naturally, he didn't get a result. He stopped using the drug. And one final case I'd like to go through. It's a young lady in her early 30s. Obviously, you can see she's not a lot of hair on the top there. When she came to us, she was in a very desperate state, looking for a solution for her problem, which originally started out as alopecia areata, similar to the case we just discussed before. But after a few short years, it spread to her whole body, eventually leading to a condition called alopecia universalis, which affects the whole body. So just to go over that again, 6 years of pharmaceutical treatments, including steroid injections, actually into the scalp for her condition. And some of those, it started off as small hair loss patches. These patches became bigger over time with this medication. So it didn't work. Not much in the way of side effects, but definitely a treatment that was not suitable for her, for this condition, for this particular young lady. As I mentioned, eventually those small patches became larger and she lost hair all over her body. So another very sad case of someone who had used the standard approach to the standard medical approach for a hair loss condition, and ended up being very disappointed with the result. So another reason why we want to come to Perth and run this seminar is that we really want to let people know that the treatments we use here at AusHair are safe to use with no side effects. We have a proven safety record over the past 20 years in Australia. We've been here for a long time. This is not a new treatment in Australia. This is very important to let everyone know. We are an established clinic here in Australia, and we've been using these products for a long time here. Keep in mind that long-term treatment is often needed for most cases of hair loss, and that's where the safety factor is very important, to make sure that if you are going to use a treatment for hair loss, you want to make sure that it's safe to use long-term, because chances are you will be using this treatment over at least a few months, but possibly even years. And that's very common with hair regrowth. So safety is an important factor, and we do provide that with our treatments. Point 3, well, we've got over 20 years of experience in Australia, as I've mentioned, but more importantly, we've got over 20 years of continually getting results in this area. We've got the clinical experience with a herbal hair regrowth solution that is very, very effective for a number of types of hair loss. So we've got the experience, we've got the expertise, and we've got the results. We can show you those results as well, and we will do when we come to Perth in May. So, as I mentioned, this is vital information. We believe that hair loss sufferers out there need to know this information before they go ahead and decide what type of treatment they are they're wanting to go for their hair loss. We are very concerned. We're very passionate about people's health and well-being. So we want people to make a decision in this area that will help them to avoid some of the mistakes made by some of our past clients. And you've heard some of the stories that I've mentioned before. These are really sad stories, and we want these stories to be known to other hair loss sufferers, so that they are better informed, and at the end of the day they can make a better choice regarding their hair regrowth process. So, we invite you to please join our seminar in May. As I mentioned, Angela, our trichologist, will be presenting. She'll be more than happy to take questions about your specific hair loss condition, during and definitely after the seminar. And, of course, she will provide you with professional advice for your specific case. Angela's been doing this for about 5 years or more, so she's got a lot of experience in this area, and she hopes to see you there in Perth in May. We will be there, as I mentioned, in May, between the 20th and the 22nd. The venue is still to be announced. We will provide you with those details very soon. Please keep an eye on this page for those details. We will put them up shortly. In any event, if you're interested and you'd like to attend, please register your details on this page. Fill out your contact details and other details below, and we will get back to you with a confirmation email with all the venue and other details related to this event. That's all from me. Thanks for listening, and we look forward to seeing you in Perth in May, and we hope you'll get a lot out of this presentation. Thanks again for listening.